stories to lift each other, give hope to push us further, and encourage one another. Behind the scenes beauty.
Verdine White is a prolific bass player and is one of the founding members alongside his brother Maurice White of the legendary band Earth, Wind and Fire. The Chicago native joined in 1970, and the band has won numerous awards such as American Music Awards, Grammys, the Kennedy Center Honor, and was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The band is known for its hits such as Keep Your Head to the Sky, Devotion, and the all-time favorite, September, in which two of those songs Verdeen co-wrote. Verdeen is placed number 27 on a list of 100 of the best bass players of all time. He also wrote 2 books with friend Louis Satterfield entitled Playing the Bass Guitar, A Beginner's Guide to Playing the Bass. He is also producing and running an organization he co-founded called the Verdine White Performing Arts Center, a non-profit for underprivileged, at-risk youth. Along with the fact that the band is still touring, Verdeen shows us that he is only just beginning with no plans of slowing down. Okay, so there's only a few times that I actually get a chance to interview legends, and this is one of those times. I am so elated to have with us for Behind the Scenes Beauty, the amazing Verdine White. Hey, sir, how are you?
How are you? How you doing? We've been trying to do this for a while.
We have,
you know what I mean?
But we made it happen.
We made it happen.
We made it happen. You know. And we got to come to your home and do it in your trophy room. Mm-hmm. That's the exciting part, to see all of your gold and silver platinum records and your Grammys, 8 Grammys.
Seven.
Seven.
I think it's seven. Seven.
Well, right. Added with the American Music Award
right.
and the Kennedy Center Honor. I mean, you have your fair share.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get right into it. We definitely always sort of learn about your history. Mm-hmm. So you're from Chicago.
Originally, yeah.
Okay, so what was life growing up for Verdine White in Chicago?
Well, mom and dad, my dad was a doctor, Verdeen Sr. Mom was a school teacher, and, raised in the household of 9 brothers and sisters. And, of course, my older brother, Maurice, the late Maurice White, the great Maurice White.
Yeah.
And but he lived in Memphis, but he was visit to Chicago all the time.
Gotcha.
And of course, Chicago was a hustling and bustling city, and great urban city.
Uh-huh.
It was a action-packed city, a lot of music, a lot of culture.
Gotcha.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you get is musicality? Okay, because your brother is musical. You're musical. Does musicality run in your family? Was your father, your mother?
Yeah, mom and dad. My dad was a saxophone player, but
okay.
he also was a musician.
Okay.
Well. And my brother Fred played drums.
Okay.
Who was in the band for quite a few years. So we had a lot of music around the house. We had a basement where we would rehearse and practice and things like that. Learn our craft.
Okay.
As we call it. We didn't know it was a craft then. We were just down there rehearse.
Gotcha. Yeah. So how did you get introduced to the bass guitar?
I saw it. I loved it. And I started messing around with it, but Maurice got me an upright bass, which I practiced all the time, and then I switched to bass guitar, to do that, and I studied classical during a couple of days a week, and on weekends I was down in those clubs, those joints, with top 40 bands and things like that, and older musicians, 3 sets a night. 4 sets a night.
So were you really pursuing, was music like a side thing, or was it really something you were actually passionate about and pursuing, just wanting to be a bassist guitar?
Yeah, I wanted to do that because I had some good teachers, but I didn't know how it was going to turn out, so I didn't really stress about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was just doing it for fun.
Uh-huh.
It was fun.
Okay.
It was a fun thing,
Well then, let's talk about when it transitioned from not being just fun, but now it's a career. So
it's still fun.
Right. But not that, but I'm just saying now there's the responsibility to it. I mean, when you make it look fun, your energy is always on 10. Y'all always keep the crowd pumping. But so in 1970, your brother Maurice calls you.
That's right. He was actually the drummer for the Ramsey Lewis Trio.
Okay.
For Ramsey.
Okay.
And Ramsey, of course, family friend, lived in the neighborhood, and of course they had those big records, with the In Crowd, Wade in the Water, all those wonderful songs. And Ramsey was a great great person, great pianist, and great bass player that Ramsey had named Cleveland Eaton. Great bass player. And my bass guitar teacher was a gentleman named Louis Satterfield. Great. Taught me everything I need to know on bass guitar. And Reese left the trio and came here.
Okay.
And I was still at home. I was going to start my first year of music school, college, conservatory, and they asked me, did I want to come to California? You know.
And you were you gun ho? Were you hesitant? What was going through your mind? He's calling you, saying, "Let's come here."
I was shocked. I didn't know what he thought of me. You know what I mean? You know, why all the great people that he wanted to work with, and all the people he worked with. And so he said, "You want to come to California?" I said, "Yeah." You know, and I had and I left Chicago and left a 4-year paid music scholarship to come here.
Well, it was a good sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's a testament to like going after your dreams, and sometimes you sacrifice one thing, but it's gain something much greater.
Yeah, well, it's I didn't know it at the time, and I was thinking about my schooling and things like that, But then when I got here, I forgot about all of that, things like that. It was like, it was an example of not letting, your schooling interfere with your education.
Right. So how was that adjustment from Chicago? Now you're in LA, sunny LA, and how was that adjustment coming from?
It was great because it was wild, you know what I mean?
Right.
All those hippies and all this music,
right,
and all this stuff that was happening. And then out here, the stars were really here. The other artists were here, people that I had saw on television back in Chicago. So I was able to really get it together more professionally, than I would have in Chicago. Although Chicago was great, I would have been able to get that part together.
Gotcha.
Professionalism, dance class, acting class, being around other artists, other people that were trying to do the same thing.
Okay. So I'm always amazed by you guys' names. How did Earth, Wind, and Fire get its name?
Well, it came from, it's not as popular as it was then. It came from Maurice's astrological chart.
Okay.
See, back in the day, they said, oh, hey, my name is Verdine. Your name is Derek. Hey, what's your sign?
Oh, right.
They don't do that anymore. It's kind of old school.
Well, they do a little bit.
Are they still doing it?
They still doing it.
Okay, all right. That was really
Every
the thing.
now and again, somebody will be like, what's your sign? And they're going to judge you by how they're going to treat you.
Yeah, so you got to pick the sign to tell them. You can't say, well, I'm a Scorpio. Oh, no. You got to pick a sign that's kind of...
You definitely don't want to be a Gemini either.
Exactly. And so he got it from his astrological chart. In his chart, there was no water. It was earth, air, and fire. So he changed it from air to wind, and then call it Earth, Wind, and Fire. But that was not our original name. The original name was the Salty Peppers.
Oh.
Yeah.
What brought that name about? What made y'all be the Salty Peppers?
I don't know, because I was just kind of watching on the sidelines, watching them, the first Earth, Wind, and Fire and things like that. And so really, when we came here, that's when we started cranking up and getting it together. And Philip Bailey joined the band in 1971.
Okay.
And Ralph joined in 71, and we met Clive Davis, and Clive Davis gave us our first big break. We had 2 records before, you know what I mean, on Warner Brothers, and then we had done
what were some of the notable songs? Were there any ones
people way back in the day, the young people would know today, things I Think About Loving You, that Cherry Scott sang, and Fan the Fire, and Reach Out, Help Somebody. Tunes like that. Tunes that didn't really get a lot of airplay, but they were good underground.
Gotcha.
They were big enough for record companies to pay attention. Because we had been watching groups like Sly and the Family Stone, and who was great. He was actually originally the one that did all this crossover, Sly. He had Everybody's a Star, songs like that. And, they're really, really great group, And he's recently in a movie that Questlove did called The Summer of Soul.
Watched it.
That Sly was in.
Yeah.
For those that don't know about Sly, he was really great. You know what I mean? You really see what he was then. You had Cynthia in the group, trumpet player Larry Graham.
Yeah.
That's where G started from, and Rose, his sister. You know what I mean? Who was great. She sang those female vocals with him. Everybody's a Star. With him. So he was really great. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay, so a lot of people probably don't know this, probably just think you play, but you were also co-writing on a lot of those songs.
Yeah, Maurice made us write.
Oh, really?
Reese made us get in there and write with him and things like that. And me and Philip and Larry Dunn and Al McKay, we would get in there and write. And it was more like, it was a band. It was a band, so we were doing everything. We weren't like, we were very self-contained. We wrote it, produced it. You know what I mean? Performed it.
Was that pushing you? Did
No.
you always feel like you would, well,
Not
you
a-
had been to music school, so you were ready to compose.
Yeah, but actually, it was not a big deal. It was just like something that just kept going. You just kept going. It was fun to do. You learned a lot about records and things like that. And of course, Maurice being the founder and the creator of everything.
We shape it collectively. My particular task and my particular job and function here is to take the best of each individual and feature that. You should be behind. I don't really look at him as a boss, which is, I guess, is good. He respects my work and I respect his.
All of them contribute in one way or another to the creation of the music. But make no mistake, the founder, director, producer, and guru is Maurice White.
Yeah.
We did what was in his head. You know what I mean? He knew exactly. He was one of those rare talents that knew what he had.
Right.
He knew what time it was. He knew what time he was in, and he had the talent to deliver. Because he was a great drummer too. All those records, a lot of those records, him and I played on those records together.
Were there ever moments you look back and was like, my brother is a genius? I mean, I'm sitting, when I look at you guys, and then you're not really always appreciated amongst your family a lot of times, which goes back to how you said you didn't understand what was making him call you, of all the talent he worked with.
Right.
Were there moments that you looked at him and just was amazed that, wow, like my brother, because it's the moving parts and he's putting together the band and he's, all of these things.
Oh yeah, but he made us participate though, so we were part. He let us be part of his journey, and he was great on stage. But actually, he was cooler when you met him.
Oh really?
Yeah, man, he was cooler when you met him. You know what I mean? He was really down to earth, very soft spoken, never raised his voice. A perfect leader, for people like myself and Philip and Ralph.
All those voices, it's two guys. All these years, that's been the secret. Nobody knew. Nobody never knew, but that's basically what's happening.
Then how do you reproduce that sound once you get on stage?
We just rehearse.
We rehearse like crazy.
Rehearse it.
And we go crazy trying to get it together.
And then you just teach the other members of the group?
We teach the other members, until we get it. And normally, if he's singing lead and I'll sing the high part, I'll keep the balance within the structure. And then when I'm singing something, he'll keep the high part. So we go back and forth. As long as one of us is present vocally in the stage production, it keeps the sound. Dig what I'm saying?
We've been able to go on all these years because of his leadership and drumming it in us, you know what I mean, and keeping us focused and although we're all individuals, when we walk in that Earth, Wind and Fire matrix, boom, we get right in there.
Yeah.
Everybody from crew to staff, we all, it's almost like a sleight of hand, when you meet us now, we're all different, but as soon as you walk in there, it's Earth, Wind and Fire.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
The walls change, everything changed.
So what is like the secret sauce to y'all's longevity? Because there are a lot of your contemporaries and other bands that they've had these huge, issues falling out, but you guys have maintained sticking together with most of its original members. How have you been able to even accomplish that?
We've taken this journey together. It's been, we grew up together. Philip, Ralph, myself, basically we joined at the hip. We grew up, we cut our teeth on the fire, as we say. So it enabled us to grow and to keep getting better and as individuals and as artists and writers, producers. So it was just, if that's the secret sauce, that's what it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Because, so many times I'm a big person that watches TV One. I always watch that show when they talk about the
Unsung,
different
or Behind the Music. Yeah.
And I'm always like sad to see how people come together and they have these amazing careers and then they fall out. over crazy stuff. But
Right.
I'm so happy that you guys maintained and kept it going for so
Yeah, I know
long.
one of the producers on sung, and they said, uh, I was joking. One of the producers said, "You guys should be on the show." I said, We didn't do enough bad things." You know what I mean?
Right. We don't have enough bad
Drama.
stories.
We have no drama,
Right.
and we don't have any drama.
Right.
And we've always put the music. I mean, we have drama.
Right.
Everybody has drama.
But everything, but not
that kind of drama.
that.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But we always put the music before us.
Mhm.
Yeah, the music's always been the forefront rather than us.
Gotcha.
We always kept the music in your face rather than us.
Okay, so style-wise, because this is behind-the-scenes beauty, you guys were in that era of where everybody sort of was stand out. Who was y'all's creative director as far as you guys look and how you guys portrayed yourselves?
Well, we had a great designer, really wonderful person, the late Bill Whitten. Really wonderful designer. He did us, he did the Jacksons, he did the Commodores, he did a lot of great people, he did a lot of movie stars. And he was the one that originally came up with a lot of those ideas. But some of the ideas we came up too, you know, we wearing tights and capezios and you know, we had the basics, but we took it up to the next level, you know. And then stage wise we had George Faison, who did the Wiz and things like that.
Yeah,
George, a lot of the younger people don't know him, but of course he was good friends with Debbie Allen and all of those.
I feel like somebody else mentioned him in the interview that I did actually too.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
You know, George did Nick and Val.
Okay.
You know, all their stage. And George was the one that put our, to this day, the reason we know choreography is because of George.
Oh, wow.
You know, George was the one that really trained us, whipped us in shape. You know, George was the one that put us together and things like that, you know.
Okay. So my other question is, you have you've given back in more ways than one. You wrote a book.
Yeah, too.
You were 2 books. Okay. So I know one of them was, well, help me. You tell me. What were your books?
Well, actually, on bass.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
on
one
the
was
bass.
about teaching bass.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You know, and my style is a little bit unorthodox. So I had all the things written out.
Gotcha.
But then I put a CD and DVD in there so you could kind of take a look at it.
Oh, wow.
Because actually, sometimes what you read on paper is not exactly,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
the way
exactly.
I play.
Exactly.
I'm not as stiff as the notes.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, my style is a little bit more creative, a little bit
Gotcha.
off base. You know.
And so you said what's the other book?
Part 2.
Part 2, okay.
Part 2 of that. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So you also have the Verdine White Foundation.
Yes.
You've also given back in that way.
Absolutely.
And so what does your foundation do?
Well, what we do, it's actually a building that my wife and son, we have, and we were going to sell the building, but we said, let's keep the building, you know, and gutted it out, and there's a church in it for sermons every Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Pastor Walter Davis, really great guy. Looks like a football player, but he's a pastor, but he's great. And we've sent 3 kids to Berkeley.
Oh, wow.
Every year they take a trip to see the country. You know, I suggested they go to New York to see, you know, Brooklyn and Schomburg Center and go to Harlem. Although the Harlem they read about is not that Harlem, but it's good to go.
Exactly.
You know, it's good to go.
Yeah.
And then I put a little studio upstairs for the young people to work on beats because they didn't want to listen to the sermons, so they go upstairs. And,
Right.
but now we're on our 3rd generation of kids. We used to have 2 twins when they were little at the sermons, getting bored, but now they're in college now, things like that. So we've done a pretty good job there.
Definitely have.
And then on Wednesdays, which we're still doing, we're giving free breakfast, you know, to kids. The parents that come to have free breakfast on the way to school because a lot of our urban kids don't get a chance to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A good meal, you know, orange juice, yogurt, you know, coffee, and even during COVID, we had it almost 3 days a week, even when they weren't going to school.
Okay.
So people get free meals, you know, because the COVID took a lot out of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, because a lot of times our people, whether people know it or not, a lot of our African Americans don't have computers like we think. We don't.
Or internet
Or
service.
internet, right? Or
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
a lot of our older people still have flip phones.
Yeah.
So they don't really know how to work the technology because it's not the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you have to buy all the apps.
Yeah.
That's where all the money goes to, the data and things like that.
True.
So we try to help out as much as we can, and we set up a place for them to get COVID testing. So we try to do things for the community, and then and Walt has great sermons and things like that, and he talks about scripture and things like that. And sometimes I'll butt in and I say, listen, you might want to talk about this,
Right.
and apply scripture to how people are living today.
Gotcha.
So it could be useful for them, particularly young people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll have a lot of energy. They love sports, they love music, and you got to meet them where they at.
Yeah, need that direction.
Yeah, and the parents always have suggestions where they want to go. So the parents, you can always tell when it's the older people. We want to go to Hawaii. We want to go to the Bahamas. I said, no. Young people don't think that way.
Right.
So I said, let them go see. They went to New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And go see. How America was built.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They went to D.C. and went to the Smithsonian and saw all of the African American Museum. And I sent them there on purpose because we're in that.
Yeah, of course.
And,
of course, that's right.
Yeah, and I sent them to Smithsonian because we're in there too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You're gonna learn.
Exactly. That sometimes they don't know, and a lot of times history really is not for us; it's for the people we leave behind.
Exactly.
Because sometimes they don't know what you do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So true.
Until you expose them to what you've done. You know what I mean? And we're in the Smithsonian, right down about a few paces down from the big Barack poster, the big painting.
Right.
And we're there with Lin-Manuel Miranda of Hamilton and things like that. So that way they can get a chance to see their people and people they actually know.
Yeah.
They say, oh, this is his place. This is him and his wife's son's place. You know what I mean? Oh, doesn't he have this? Because they don't know.
Right.
A lot of our people, sometimes they don't know what we've done.
Gotcha.
We're constantly reinforcing our history. Every generation, we have to keep talking about it. You know what I mean?
So I'll ask you this, because I feel sort of gobsmacked, especially when it comes to like talking with you and when I talk with Whoopi, because you guys have these careers that are so vast and it's so much, and it's like, it's mind blowing. So I'm going to ask you this, and I don't even know if you have any one that you could narrow down, but like, what are 2 moments of your career that you cherish the most?
If you'd have asked me maybe 10 years ago, I'd have gave you 2. Okay. I'd have to give you 100 now. Because it keeps evolving. I just think of course, the day I came out here was probably a big moment, whether I knew it or not. Because I never went back.
Yeah.
People come back, oh, one day I'm going to go out to California and boom.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come out and they go back home.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Right.
I came out and...
Were there times that you felt like you thought about going back?
Not at all.
No, not at all. So
you
didn't have one of them like, ooh, I might have to go back home moments.
No. Matter of fact, I never got homesick.
Really?
No.
Okay.
So me and Maurice said, we got to go back and visit the parents, mom, and
right.
But we got to pretend we had a rough time though.
We can't act like we
exactly
doing too good.
Exactly.
Right.
And you can always come back home.
Right.
Not for what I sing out here.
Right.
What I mean? And no, because things were happening. We were making records, and we had an opportunity before we signed with Clive to work with Melvin Van Peebles and Sweetback, the first black exploitation movie, and it was right before Superfly, and the Summer of Soul, that you saw recently. There's another great show called Soul.
Yes,
and that was right.
I think they might show it on Amazon Prime or one.
That's right.
But they do show old episodes.
That's right.
Yes.
And we were on that show. That was our first New York show.
Yeah. Okay.
With us and Stan Lathan, the director. That was one of his first things, and that was our first big show in New York. They played it about 20 times. It broke us open in New York, and then Nick and Val was on it before they were Ash and Simpson. They were just called Nick and Val.
Oh wow!
Jesse Jackson gave beautiful speeches, and it was about our code. Nikki Giovanni, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember because actually, where she spoke on that show, people didn't probably know it was that show, but she did a conversation with
Muhammad Ali, right?
No, I think it was the author poet James Baldwin, and she was saying that you should lie to me, how you'll go every day and lie to the white man. and then you'll come to me and treat me bad, you know, and treat me. I want you to lie to me.
What does the truth matter? And why are you going to be truthful with me when you lie to everybody else? You lied when you smiled at that cracker down the job, right? Lie to me, smile. Treat me the same way you would treat him.
I can't treat you the way I
must.
treat him.
You must. Because I've caught the frowns and the anger. He's happy with you. Of course he doesn't know you're unhappy. You grin at him all day long. You come home and I catch hell because I love you. I get least of you. I get the very minimum. And I'm saying, you know, fake it with me. Is that too much of the black woman to ask of the black man?
And people don't realize, I think that came from that actual show.
And I think out of that, he did I am not your Negro.
Yeah.
You know, you know. So in a nutshell, that show was very, very culturally relevant for our people, and it was, I think, it was WNET in New York City. Okay. You know what I mean? But we played. They played that show about 30, 40 times, which broke us in New York. You know, when we started playing the Philip Forum, and then WBLS started playing our music, and then when Frankie Crocker was there and all that stuff, and WLIB, and yeah, so that was a great show.
How does it feel to have music that has lasted and that people jump up as if it just came out yesterday? How does that feel? Like when you're up on that stage and you're playing and you're getting that love, what is going through your body and your mind at that time?
Well, I'm grateful.
Yeah. Because,
you know, you wake up and you be saying, wow, this didn't have to happen. You know, it's a big part of your life, and it's a big part of other people's lives. I was out yesterday getting a gift for one of the guys, and this 10-year-old kid came up to me and she said, "Can I have your autograph?" I said, "What? Are you out of your mind? You don't know who I am." I said, "Tyler, the Creator." She said, "No, I know." I said, "Who told you to come over here?" She said, "My father." I said, "Bring me to your dad." She brought me to her dad at the restaurant at the table. I said, "You did a good job."
Right, okay.
I hugged him.
Right.
I thanked him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's, you know, it's one of those kind of things that happen, and for us, we've been able to reintroduce ourselves from the Verzuz with Ronnie.
That's what I was going to talk about. You just did the Verzuz. How did that feel, being a part of that?
That was a total accident.
With the Isley Brothers.
That was totally accident.
Really?
Yeah, because what happened was we didn't know how it was going to turn out. So, you know, Swiss and Timberland, we were only going to do an hour and a half. And
what too many hits.
Yeah, what happened was that they wanted it a battle.
Oh, yeah.
And so we said, "No, man, we want to make it a celebration, and the winner is the audience."
Yeah.
And so Steve called. He said, "I'm doing it. I'm coming out. I'm going to be the MC."
Right.
And it was great. You know what I mean, for Steve. You know what I mean, because he's our rah-rah man, knows a lot about us. And,
yes.
And it was great. And originally we were going to do an hour and a half. So we said, "Okay, we're done." Timberland and Swiss called back and said, "Y'all got to stay up there. This thing is out of control."
Wow.
So we ended up doing 4 million people in that one city. We were up there 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours. And then we streamed anywhere from 1.5 billion to 2 billion. And then the next day it was 500,000.
And did y'all see, because I'm sure after every Verzuz battle, but I'm sure definitely out of y'all, you saw where you got more streams.
Oh, more streams at the we had 5 albums in the top 5.
Oh.
Ronnie had 5 albums in the top 5.
Wow.
And it was beautiful. And you know, we all sang with Ronnie. Philip sang with Ronnie. Because you know they know each other. We're all like family. Our wives know each other. And, you know, the whole 9 yards. And it was beautiful. Ronnie's a great artist too.
Yeah, yes he is.
And the beatboxing between 2 great falsetto singers. I'm just loving it. Ronnie and Philip, like stereo.
Yeah. And and all of y'all look great too. Y'all have aged well. You guys have taken care of yourself. What's your secret?
Well, you know, first good genes.
Yeah, okay.
Bad, you know, I'm not really a big smoker or drinker, which is no big deal. You know?
Right.
I just love athletic. You know?
Gotcha.
I work out, you know. I'm vain, you know, that helps too. You know what I mean? That's a big help too.
It does.
It's a big help before you walk out. You know what I mean? You know, I love clothes and things like that. You know, so you know, it's just it is what it is for me. You know what I mean? You know.
Okay, and so let's talk about what you're working on recently. You mentioned earlier to me that you've been working with MJ Rodriguez.
Yes.
What have you guys been up to?
Well, she just put out a single called Something to Say,
Okay.
Which is doing really well.
Uh-huh.
We just wrapped the video Friday night.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which is fantastic.
What's up, y'all? It's Michaela J here. I'm with the fam, and the song is about to come out like in a minute. So check it out. Woo! Something to say. Let's go. Got something to say.
She was just nominated this morning for a Critics Award.
Oh, okay.
Best Actress, Drama and Pose.
She deserves
She
it.
deserves. She's at the Cannes Film Festival as we speak, right now.
Yes.
She's living her best life.
Uh-huh.
And she did a Lexus commercial,
Yes.
and she is so busy.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy for her. When I saw her, she was an artist that I wanted to work with, and then and I have had a chance to meet her, and I wanted to meet her. So, you know, my buddies, John Paris, who's our drummer for Earth, Wind & Fire, Neil Polk, great engineer, producer, who did Tyler Creator, Outkast. We all got together and wrote songs for her and got down with her. And it was really, she's a fantastic person.
Yeah.
So really great.
One of my friends did her hair, and he was showing on his Instagram Live, Tim Wallace, he was showing her. She recently performed out here, I think.
She did the Outfest.
Yes, yes.
3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we went to the rehearsals.
Okay.
With her and the dancers. And with her, you don't have to do anything. We just, you know, she just is just great. We just came to rehearsals to hang out.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what she wants. She cracks the whip. Her and the dancers were rehearsing, you know, with heels on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were stomping. She's working at, like, all right, I want you to go over there. Because she's really a stage performer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I said, she's wearing them heels at rehearsal with Beyonce and them
Right.
when they do.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
okay.
And, but she's fantastic. And she got nominated this morning. So we called her in France this morning. And we're crossing our fingers because the Emmy nominations are this Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
But she's having the ride of her life.
Yeah.
And she just did a Lexus commercial.
Okay.
Brand, you know, and she's everywhere.
Yeah.
And she's getting ready to start a new series in August. She's shooting with Maya Rudolph.
Oh, okay.
A comedy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. For Netflix.
Listen,
And they're moving here.
Yeah. Oh, for real?
Well, yeah, we have to be here. So
Oh,
I said, so she said, Uncle, so what do you do in LA? I said, what? You get a Starbucks card, a yoga mat, put on some tight jeans, white t-shirt, right?
That's it.
And get a dog.
And some sunglasses.
You gotta
have some oversized sunglasses.
That's right. And get a dog.
And get a dog.
Yes. I said, you'll have a nice life.
Yes. And go to a Starbucks where you can get shot in Us Weekly doing this.
Absolutely.
I always said I always want to come. I want to have a big sunglasses on, do this.
Or whatever new coffee shop there is.
Exactly.
But she's looking forward to coming here, and she's been here a lot. You're doing everything. You know, she's been here a lot. You know, she has the best life. And I said, strap in.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
I'm so happy for them. I just actually saw Dominique at Whoopi's house on the 4th of July. She was she
was in there. She's a great actress.
Yeah. And I knew her before she even was on that. I knew her when Whoopi had a show called Strut, which was about transgender models. So
right.
she was in that. So it was very interesting and very happy to see how she's expanded and grown, and to see all of them.
All of them have grown and expanded, and as a group that was obviously we've been part of breaking ground, being groundbreaking group. I wanted to be part of something that was just as groundbreaking in this era.
Yeah,
and I wanted to do something that I had never done before, that was different, that contributed to society, things like that. So I strapped in for this one and said, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
And so now, you know, she's on her way now. You know what I mean? So she's on her own. She's having the best life.
Let her fly. Okay, so two questions. So do you ever get tired?
What do you mean?
I mean, you guys you're leaving tomorrow. You're on the road. You guys don't stop. Is there ever a moment you're like, oh, I don't know how much longer I want to be on this road, or you one of them people, you going to ride it till the wheels fall off?
I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off.
Listen, I'm not mad. I am not mad.
When people say, I want to be like you when I grow up, I said, I want to be like me. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So I have a signature question that I ask everybody, and this one is, what is beautiful to you? What does Verdine White find beauty in?
Things that are beautiful. Art. Clothes. Music. Food. People. That's what I find beautiful. Whatever's beauty is, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, thank you so much.
You're
Verdine.
welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome.
I love you so much.
Love
I
you too.
appreciate you.
We got this done.
We got it.
Behind